welcome back to the newest edition of Spitball in Sports. I'm your host, John. You see the empty box there. Scott will be with us shortly. I'm sure he's got something going on. You know how that goes. Robin's here off to the side. She'll be with us later on when we start talking a little bit of basketball and football and all that.
I'll be listening intently to what our guest has to say.
Oh, yeah, definitely, because I know you love hockey.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Scott, what's happening, buddy?
Hockey's the real love.
What's up, Scott? Oh, you're muted.
I had something going on out in the front of the house. I had to go scope out
some action.
Yeah, a little weird stuff going on, dude. I left for work this morning, and I leave for work at 6:30. It's pitch black out. There's nobody out there. And when I left, there was a car parked across, right at the end of my driveway, on the not in front of it, side of it, and it was running, and then the lights were on, but it was like two lights were on. Only the right side headlight and right side tail light were on. So I went to work. I left work, got my car inspected, got home at like 4:30 or about 4:30, 5 o'clock. And I pull in and the car's still there and the light's still on. So I was going to go over to the neighbor across the street. I knock on their door. I figure it's somebody there. Nobody answers. I walk by the car, dude. The car's running. My neighbor yells to me and says, dude, that car's been running since 3 o'clock this morning. I'm like, what?
Let's call the police on that. Yeah, because that's weird.
I thought it was the neighbor right here.
Yeah.
So, because it looked like it had a handicap sticker in it, and some shady people just showed up and got in it. And
wow.
That's why my wife's like, it's a little shady out here. You might want to come look at what's going on. I opened the front door. I was just peeking out. She thinks I'm about to go run out there and act like I'm Columbo, but no.
Niagara Falls is a mess because you live out in a nice spot. This is really a mess.
The urban decay, my friend.
We're not a nice. There's no nice spots.
It's like a cavity.
Oh my God! All right, I don't want to keep our guests waiting. No, you're not keeping it. No problem. It's incredible. But Mike Augello, our friend, member of Pro Hockey Writers of America, HockeyBuzz.com, Off the Post Radio, Leafs Convo podcast, which you can see, and NHL writer for Full Press. Let me bring in our friend Mike. Hey, Mike.
Gentlemen, good evening.
What's up, Mike? Oh, Mike, glad to see you. Thanks for joining us. It was perfect timing, I thought. It's a little bit quiet, all-star break, and because you're going to be getting into some busy season here real quick.
Oh yes, this is the fun time of the year where I'm constantly scanning. Well, okay, this time of year leading up to the deadline, where people are in the press box at the games taking pictures of the list of scouts that are at the games, because sometimes that means absolutely nothing and sometimes that means something, but now and around the draft and free agency is when everybody is scanning Twitter like incessantly, and that's what I'll be doing for the next 5 weeks.
I do that too. Yeah. I got to ask you something before we get into like rumors and trade deadline. I want to ask you a couple questions about the league.
Sure.
And the first one I want to ask you, and then I got a video I want to show the people out there because you probably already saw it. But I want to ask you this first: why are the Bruins so good? I mean, I would have never expected this kind of.
Well,
historic.
It's funny because I was up in Toronto for the Bruins Leafs game on Wednesday, and I mean, I was asking the same question because you look at that team. And I expected, Krejci came back after spending a year in the Czech Republic, and Bergeron was going to retire, and they had goaltending Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. And it's like, okay, I think that this team, this aging core is starting, they're going to start to fall off. And this is like, let's get the gang together for one last year, and everybody's just putting everything into it because the Bergeron's still at the top level of his game. Krejci doesn't look like he had any rust. They made a nice trade for Pavel Zacha from New Jersey. They traded for Lindholm at the deadline. Everything has come together. They got a new coach in Jim Montgomery. I think that's a lot of it. They were getting bored and tired of the Bruce Cassidy situation there, and Montgomery has come in and really given them a shot in the arm. So, I mean, they're a team right now that, everything is going right. But as we know, like teams that do wonderfully in the first half. That doesn't mean that that's going to translate to the second half, and it doesn't mean that it's going to translate to the rest of the season or the playoffs. So they could have a great year and then get upset like Tampa Bay did a few years ago to Columbus. You never know.
Yeah, and the Bruins, after just beating the daylights out of the Leafs, they had lost 3 in a row coming into that. So yeah, they it's just amazing me. I'm looking at the roster, and then I heard this. And I want you to listen, and I'm sure you already heard this. I want the people to hear it before so they can understand what I'm talking about. Listen to Brad Marchand, and this is so interesting what he says about taking less money. It's only 30 seconds long.
We have another really good goalie to rely on. So just, again, adds to that depth that we have. And I think that's something the team always wants to try to do is create through depth, which is why, typically our team in the past has always been guys have tried to take less to win because we know that it pleases you the lineup. If you can have 6 guys that make lower salary other than 3, it's a lot harder to play against. And that's why we've been good.
Now, Mike, was that directly at the Leafs, you think, or was that I don't know.
Well, knowing Marchand's ability to be a troll, maybe a little bit, but I mean, he's speaking the truth in the sense that team had, Marchand took a little over $6 million on an 8-year deal. Pasternak was 6.6, Bergeron 6.8, all under $7 million. But that ended a couple years ago when they signed Charlie McAvoy at $9.5 million, and that'll be ended again when David Pasternak gets more than $10 million. He's gonna get. If he doesn't get more than $10 million, there's just something wrong in Mudville. He's going to get $10-11 million because he's one of the best 2 or 3 forwards in the league. So, yes, they took less. That was the ethic of the Boston Bruins, asking their players to take less. But it's ending. Now, the Leafs, they've got 4 players making $40 million, and those 4 players have to perform every night or they're not going to win, whereas Boston has more depth throughout their lineup. And, I guess he's sort of throwing shade there, but, I mean, that's just the reality of the NHL. Star players are going to get paid. Pasternak is a star player, and he's going to get paid.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Scott.
Hey, Mike. Now, all that's been released, at least out here, is that Tage Thompson has an upper body injury. Do you know any more in regards to that?
No, I mean, that's the report that came out. They said that it is not expected to be a long-term injury. So that's positive for the Sabres and their hopes of making the playoffs for the first time in 12 years. But, I mean, it sucks for him because he's having this great year, and it would have been his first opportunity to play in the All-Star game. And, he lost out on that at the 11th hour. So that was terrible for him. But it does not sound like it's anything of a serious nature, and he'll probably be back soon after the All-Star break. And it was beneficial for them in one sense. They have a big lull after I think they had their week bye after the All-Star break. So they don't play another game until February 11th. They have another week. So by that time, maybe he's closer to returning.
Cool.
Yeah, that could have been a blessing for them. You know what? I wanted to get your take on a trade that did happen, the Bo Horvat trade with the Islanders and Lou Lamoriello. Who wins that trade in your mind?
Well, it all hinges on Lamoriello's ability to get Horvat signed to an extension. If it's a rental, I think the Canucks robbed him because Beauvillier he's had some trouble the last couple of years, but I think he's a talented forward and he'll produce. He's under contract for another year. Aatu Ratu, the kid that they got in the deal, was a steal in the second round. I hang out with a lot of the scouting people at the draft, and they were all very enthused about Ratu and his ability. So, and he already made the NHL a year and played a few games a year out from being drafted. So, and he played really well at the World Juniors. So they got that, and they got a first round pick in a really strong draft. Now it's top 12 protected. So if the Islanders, crap out and finish badly, they'll they'll let the pick slide to the following year. But more than likely, it's going to end up in this draft, and this is a really strong draft. They won't get they don't risk giving away Connor Bedard, but it could be even in the middle of the first round, it could be a really good pick. So if the Islanders sign Horvat, which it sounds like they probably will, because Lou never trades for somebody he can't sign. It all depends on how much they pay. If he's paying $8 million a year on an 8-year deal, I don't think Bo Horvat's worth that. He's having a career year. He's a good player. He's a number 2 center, but very few teams can afford to pay a number 2 center $8 million. And so we'll see what ends up in the deal.
I wanted to ask you about something else that happened. Ex-Maple Leaf, I mean, I know you remember him, really great defenseman. They just didn't have him long. Randy Carlyle. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Not Randy Carlyle. That blew my mind. I don't know what I'm thinking. Mike at the old age. Bruce Boudreau. He wasn't a great defenseman. He played I remember his first goal. He's like a little center or whatever he was, role guy. When he got fired, did you feel bad about that? That was a weird, just bad feel to me.
Yeah, no, it was badly. It was really badly managed by Jim Rutherford, another former Maple Leaf, and Patrick Alvin, their general manager. I mean, from what and there hasn't been any kind of confirmation on this, but from what I heard, Rick Tocchet, who was doing color and doing panel work for TNT, in his contract with TNT had basically a 4-week, notice. Had to give them 4-week notice, and they were going to hire Tocchet because Alvin and Rutherford were both with Pittsburgh when Tocchet was an assistant coach. They had to wait the 4 weeks to hire him, to announce the hiring, and they didn't want to have an interim coach for those 4 weeks. So they essentially hoped that the story didn't get out, and it did get out. And then essentially Boudreau was a lame duck for 4 weeks until they finally fired him. And this is the thing. You think that the Toronto Maple Leafs under Harold Ballard were dysfunctional, or the Buffalo Sabres under Tom Golisano or Tim Murray as the general manager were dysfunctional. The Vancouver Canucks are one of the most dysfunctional organizations in professional sport. They have an owner in Francesco Aquilini who refuses to do the right thing in terms of rebuilding that team, and they're constantly resetting, making stupid trades, and making the wrong moves. And the way this was handled, this was the wrong move. And I don't know whether the Horvat deal is going to turn out right or wrong, but knowing the Canucks, it's going to turn out wrong.
How many more Canucks do you think get traded?
Well, I think Luke Schenn will get traded. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. There are teams like Toronto, Tampa, Boston, the Rangers that reportedly are interested in him. Brock Besser probably gets dealt unless they're getting lowballed. Maybe one or two others at the most. There's talk about Thatcher Demko being traded, but he's injured right now, and he may not come back until the middle of February. And I don't know if a team is going to trade the type of assets that they're going to want for Thatcher Demko on 2 weeks' notice. Buffalo would be a team that I would say should be in on Thatcher Demko, because I'm still not a big believer in Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, but I'm not sure the Sabres would go down that road. But I'd say 2 or 3 others. They're going to try to be busy.
Scott?
So you don't think the Sabres? You think they're going to do the exact same thing they did last year and just ride with what they got?
Well, let's just say this. I mean, going into the All-Star break, they're 1 point out of a playoff spot. If they stay that close or within a couple points, then I think Kevin Adams is going to take the opportunity, because the Sabres have a lot of assets. They have a lot of draft picks. They have a lot of prospects. And this team has not made the playoffs since 2011. So I would think that if they're this close and the excitement rising in Buffalo for the possibility of them making the playoffs, that they would make a move or two. Maybe not trading for rentals, maybe trading for players that have term, because they don't want to give away assets for short-term gain. But I do think that there's a possibility that if they stay in the race, that they'll make a deal or two. If they start to fall behind, if they trail off, then I think they'll just stick with what they have. And I think the purpose of this year was to see what the kids will do. And when a young team is there and they have a chance to make the playoffs, adding players at the deadline is like rewarding them for their efforts. And I don't think they want to.
I never thought of it like that. That's a good way to put it, man.
As long as you're not subtracting from the current roster, that would upset team chemistry. If you're just like adding salary and they have like $18 million in available cap space at the deadline, you could trade a draft pick or a minor leaguer or a higher end prospect if you want to make a big splash. But you could do that without affecting the chemistry of the team. And in fact, it could accentuate the chemistry. It's like, oh my God, they traded for Timo Meyer. They traded for Jacob Chikrin. And oh my God, we're going to make the playoffs. And it just infuses them with excitement. And that happens, I think everybody will be on board. And you got to remember, this franchise for over a decade, they've been losing a lot of money based on people not going to games, even more so after the pandemic. You're just starting to see fans coming back to the building. If they have a chance to make the playoffs in March and April, they'll be selling out those games. So I think that it's a possibility that they'll make additions at the deadline.
Mike, let me ask you a couple Maple Leaf questions. I know that's you cover them, and
my forte, yes.
Yeah, and beloved as they are.
Yes.
Michael Bunting, will he be a Maple Leaf, you think?
Yes.
Will he'll stick around?
Yeah, okay. This is the only thing. I think a lot of things are connected to Kyle Dubas coming back as general manager. If Kyle Dubas comes back as general manager, I think it's pretty close to certain that Michael Bunting will be signed. Unlike the Zach Hyman situation from a few years ago, where he didn't want to take the 8th year and lower the AAV. He wanted to get paid. He deserved to get paid. He took a bridge deal with them a few years before that, and he wanted to make big money. And the Leafs could only afford on an 8-year deal to pay him less than $5 million, and Edmonton was going to pay him $5.5 million for 7 years. So he was getting more money, and the Leafs really couldn't match it. So Bunting is from the Toronto area, like Hyman, but he's not a high level guy like Hyman. He's not a dual threat, two-way player, penalty killer. He's an offensive guy. He's a pain in the ass. He's a Darcy Tucker, Brendan Gallagher, poor man's version of those guys, and gets under the skin of his opposition. And they need him, and he's friendly with the guys like Marner and Matthews. But that doesn't that doesn't mean anything. They'll have to pay him, but I think that they will pay him. They'll sign him for the 8-year max. They'll spread the money out so it's less than $4 million, and he'll get signed. But if Dubas leaves, or Dubas gets fired, or that they don't renew his contract, he wouldn't get fired. Then I don't know. All bets are off. Maybe. I mean, there's going to be a lot of change if Dubas doesn't come back as general manager.
We're with Mike in Buffalo. Mike Augello. Mike in Buffalo is his Twitter handle. Find that for all kinds of great rumors and stuff and everything you can imagine. Mike, one last thing on the Leafs, and maybe this has been just, I don't know if people are over dramatic or what. Probably not. But all right, it's Dubas's last year, and here we're going to the trade deadline. You see some issues. I mean, last game really, I don't know what to think of goaltending. I don't know what to think of anything at this point. I think the defense is a little better than I thought, but are they going to be they got to be, right? Active, very active, I would think. Or can they even?
Okay, they can. Do I think they'll be active? Yes. Do I think they're going to make the big splash? I mean, this is the thing that's hilarious. And I talk to a lot of reporters, and and I listen to a lot of reporters and what they report, and I have respect for all of them. But a lot of the stuff coming out right now about the Leafs is they've got to be all in. This is do or die. Bull crap. It's not do or die. I mean, we don't know what the dynamic is regarding Dubas and him coming back. He's in the, he's a lame duck in the sense that he's in the final year of his contract, and everybody has interpreted that means you got to win a round to stay. And maybe that's the truth, but I don't think Kyle Dubas is going to go out there before the deadline and ruin his reputation because, you know, there have been other general managers who'll go out and they'll trade draft picks and prospects and this and bankrupt the organization. And I don't think Kyle Dubas will do that. I think that he is going to be very circumspect. I think he's going to, you know, look at situations. He's not going to get taken to the cleaners. I don't think, you know, a lot of people say trade your first round pick, trade Matthew Nye, their top prospect, trade. Go for it. Go for it all. And then if you lose to Tampa in the first round, then if you're Kyle Dubas, good luck trying to get a job in the NHL because you'll see, you know, a signature franchise that is, you know, emptied the coffers and didn't get past the first round. So I think he's going to try to make smart deals. He's a smart general manager. I think he's going to, you know, try to get the best possible players that he can. But I also think that he recognizes there's a possibility that they're going to lose to Tampa in the first round because Tampa is, again, one of the first, you know, one of the best teams in the league and 3-time Stanley Cup finalist in a row, and the odds of them beating them probably less than 50-50. So why would you sell out to you know, improve yourself a little bit? You know, I don't know.
And you know what's funny, and I can remind people out there that might not know, the Leafs are 31-13-8, I think, right now. And we're talking about a team that's got 70 points, sitting there probably fifth best. But not winning a first round is just kills everyone. Would you envision if they don't win a first round, maybe a coaching change ever? Would Dubas ever do that, or do you think they'd have to both go together?
I don't think Dubas would fire Keefe, and I don't think Keefe is the problem. I just think that this team is, you know, I mean, Dubas hired Keefe and Sault Ste. Marie in the OHL. Dubas hired Keefe as the Marlies coach, and after he fired Mike Babcock, he brought in Keefe. Now, I'm not saying they're attached at the hip, but I do think he believes in Keefe, and Keefe has a good reputation in the league. Now, when you come up against John Cooper, who's won 2 Stanley Cups and been to 4 Stanley Cup finals in the last 7 or 8 years, I mean, you know, people say, oh, he got out-coached. He got out-coached by the best coach in the league. And it's also based on the fact that you need your players to play. Last year, they went to Game 7 of the first round with Jack Campbell in goal. And Jack Campbell, as we've discussed, I think is an okay goalie, but not a number 1 goaltender. The goalie situation in Toronto, I think, is better this year. Now, we don't know about Matt Murray and his injury. It's an ankle injury. It doesn't sound like it's anything serious. But, you know, you never know with him in terms of injuries. It could – you say it's not serious, and it could be out for the year. So we don't know. But I think their goaltending is better with Murray and Samsonov than it was last year with Campbell and Peter Mrazek. I think their defense is better. Where I'm wondering about is the depth at forward. And you saw against Tampa and in the 2 games over the last couple weeks against Boston, the difference was not Pasternak, Bergeron, and Marchand killing them. It was AJ Greer, a 4th liner, scoring. It was the defense that was scoring. It was their depth for Pavel Zakas on the 3rd line. He scored 2 goals against. It's the bottom 6, and I think that's where Dubas is going to concentrate before the deadline, is add 1 or 2 forwards, maybe that provide some size and some snarl, because you really need to push back against the Bruins in Tampa. They play physically, and they try to intimidate the Leafs because the Leafs don't hit. And I think the Leafs need to be physical to push back against those teams if they think they're going to have any chance to win in the playoffs.
Mike, I know we got to let you go here soon, but I want to throw some names at you real quick and see what you think of them and where they might go if they go at all.
Okay.
You brought up Timo Meier. Where and what's the latest, or what do you think of him?
I think, and I'm putting like my Karnak hat on here. I think New Jersey. He's going to go to New Jersey. There's been a lot of talk. He's from Switzerland. Nico Hischier, their top center, and Jonas Siegenthaler, one of their defensemen, are also Swiss. They're buddies with him apparently. There's been a lot of supposed like go get this guy, he'll sign here type of thing. And it's now that's that's tampering, but that happens, and it just it does. But New Jersey has the assets, young assets, that San Jose is looking for. The package for him, I talked to a San Jose reporter a couple days ago, and he said that the package that the Islanders gave up for Horvat is probably what San Jose is looking for Meyer. And he's, it's a first round pick, a prospect, and a player. And with Meyer, he's an RFA, not a UFA, but he has a $10 million qualifying offer. So a team that trades for him is going to probably have to sign him to a long-term deal because not many teams out there can afford the qualifying offer of $10 million.
All right. How about I got three more. Jacob Chychrun.
The chatter out there recently in the last couple days is that the Bruins are in on him. And the rich don't get rich. The rich are getting richer. McAvoy's the number one defenseman. Lindholm's the number one defenseman. Now you're going to add Chychrun. Now it's going to cost them something, but that's the latest. I mean, I'd heard Los Angeles was really interested in him because their defense is a little weak past Drew Doughty. Ottawa was interested, but I think he has some sort of limited no trade, and I'm not sure if he would go to Ottawa. But it's teams that have cap space. He's got a couple years left on his contract. It's very reasonable, but knowing the Atlantic Division's luck, he'll end up going to the Bruins.
Yeah. Let me ask you then, two guys. They're older, Pat Kane and Jonathan Toews. What do you think about them?
Well, they're supposedly going to let Kyle Davidson, the Blackhawks general manager, in the next week or two what their decision was, because they both have no movement clauses. If they don't want to go anywhere, they're not going anywhere. But you would think that Kane and Toews, both being unrestricted free agents, that they would want to go someplace where they have a chance to win. The rumor about Toews has always been Winnipeg because he's from Winnipeg, and they're actually a pretty good team this year. Anywhere that either one of these guys go, Chicago is going to have to retain 50% of the salary, and depending on the team that they go to, they may have to trade them through a third team to split the money again. So I don't know whether Winnipeg has the money on their own, the room to trade for Toews, but he would be a great add at the deadline with his Stanley Cup experience. Everything with Kane, as I've heard, has been the New York Rangers. He had played with Artemi Panarin in Chicago. It's a big city. He probably wants to go someplace where he can re-sign. Maybe the Rangers would be that team. I don't know how much it would cost him. Maybe he's made his money and he'll take less to play for a team that has a chance to win another Stanley Cup. But the Rangers have been the most frequently named team when it comes to Patrick Kane.
All right. Last thing I want to ask you is about the two teams that me and Scott like.
You're not going to ask me about the Bills, are you? Because I have some on that.
No, I didn't even. I never even knew you were a Bills fan.
Oh yeah.
Because we never talked about it in the past. It would always be talking about the Yankees and Leafs. I never knew.
Yankees, Bills, Celtics.
Oh.
I can't be a Leafs fan anymore because I'm a reporter, but I wear my heart on my sleeve. So wink, wink, nudge.
Yeah, and you know what? I've been so nice. I like Scott. He's such a big fan. You guys, I feel bad. The Bills are in kind of. I'm going to make an analogy that you guys might get mad at, but it reminds me, because it's totally different, of the Leafs and the Bills. I don't know. There's some kind of thing there that makes me feel they're similar.
Well,
but maybe
one hasn't won a championship since 1965. The other one hasn't won a championship since 1967. So yeah,
talent everywhere. You got the talent you need, kind of, sort of. But all right,
what will the Sabres? That piece sometimes.
They're like the Leafs. What will the Leafs do, and what will the Sabres do at the deadline with your crystal ball?
Well, I don't believe the Leafs will get in on Timo Meier. There's an outside chance, depending on what the price tag is, that they are in on Ryan O'Reilly, which I think would be the best move that they could make. Even though he's not having a good year, even though he's out with a broken foot right now, he'll be healthy by the time the deadline rolls around. He's a winner. He's a hard ass. He's somebody that, won a Conn Smythe with the Blues a few years ago. He would provide the Leafs with flexibility to play the wing or center. I think he'd be the perfect ad as long as they don't have to give up. If they give up their first round pick, they give up the first round pick. To me, giving up Matthew Nyes is a non-starter. I know that a lot of in the ether out there, everybody's saying, oh, they got to give up Matthew Nyes. They got to give up Matthew Nyes, which means the other teams that's what they're demanding. And the Leafs probably don't want to give them up. And I don't think that they will. But short of that, if they don't make the big swing, I think they're going to go for a couple forwards. One name that I had heard a couple weeks ago and then heard again up in Toronto during the week is Maxime Comtois from the Anaheim Ducks. Big bruising winger, led the Ducks in scoring a couple years ago when the 56-game schedule happened, has had a couple bad years since then. A lot of talent, but it doesn't seem to be a good fit. I don't know if it's Dallas Eakins in Anaheim or what, but they have a new general manager in Pat Verbeek. He's a restricted free agent that has to be qualified this summer, and they might not qualify him. So if you have a chance to trade him and get a draft pick for him, they might do that. I think Comtois would be a good fit. There's a couple other players, Ivan Barbashev from St. Louis, Sam Lafferty from Chicago. I think they're looking at bottom six forwards to add a couple of them rather than one big forward. And maybe that's the wrong approach, but I don't think they want to sell. I don't think they want to empty the coffers. So I think that's the way they're going to go. As for the Sabres, well, they're clearly not going to go for a goaltender because they seem to want to give Luukkonen the chance to be the number one and play him down the stretch and go that way. I don't think they need forwards. I think that they're going to trade for somebody to be a defenseman. But it'd probably be a defenseman with term left. I mean, so the rumor was that supposedly they were interested in Chychrun, but I just don't know whether they're willing to pay the kind of price that Arizona is looking for, which is 3 first-round pick equivalents. Meaning, like, okay, say for example, you're talking about the Sabres, that would mean Casey Middlestat, or Jack Quinn, or Kulich, or Rosen, or any of these guys, just Matthew Savoy, any of these guys drafted in the first round, plus a first-round pick. So 2 of those guys plus a first. I don't know whether Kevin Adams wants to do that. So, short of that, if they are 4 or 5 points behind as of the deadline, then they'll probably just stand pat and not do anything.
Scott? You got anything before I let Mike go?
No, I'm good. I appreciate Mike's time. He's filling me with facts today, buddy. Filling my head with facts, pal.
Yeah,
stuff.
Wide receiver and wide receiver and guard. That's what the
yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? I don't know if he's going to know that. The wide receiver. I feel that they're going to. I don't know if they'd go first round wide out. It's got to probably be I think it's going to be offensive lineman, then wide receiver, just because of the way they are, but. I hope I'm wrong.
I couldn't be happier. My season just started. I'm a Bears fan, so I have just begun.
You got all kinds of action.
They're gonna trade the first overall pick for like 5 or 6 picks, probably.
I hope so. I hope for once this is they finally fired I can't remember his name no more. I should know. He's since '82, the president. Thank God. And with polls, it's got to get better. It's got to. It can't get worse, guys.
Well,
Mike,
Justin Fields is a pretty good. I mean, he runs a lot. Maybe he's got to. Hopefully, he takes the next step like Jalen Hurts does. But he's a really good runner. So if they have confidence in him, then they keep him and they build around him, and that might be the best thing.
Mike, thank you for being with us. I'll be reaching out again when we get close to playoff time.
Sounds good.
All right, Mike. Have a good one.
Mike,
take care, guys.
All right. So that was Mike Augello. Hockey Buzz. You can find him on hockeybuzz.com. He writes there. You can see all this stuff. He's talking about rumors there. You can listen to him on Off the Post Radio. You can listen to him Leafs Convo podcast. And he's a member of the Pro Hockey Writers of America. So why don't we, Scott, take our break? Quick one. Come right back. You got some props you want to tell people about that are pretty good for the Super Bowl. I got some games. We got some other stuff too.
Cool.
All right, let's find this commercial and be back. In about, if I could ever do this right, minute and a half.
Digits 988 can save a life. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides connection to free confidential support. There is hope. The Lifeline works. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988.
All right, welcome back to Spitballin' Sports. So that was Mike Augello, our good friend, and he's very multi, right? Listen, I'm talking about football. We got some, I know baseball out of him. We'll be reaching out later for. Robin, how are you? I know you're here with us now.
Good.
Let me ask you guys something.
Love what Mike had to say.
Let me ask you guys something real quick before we get into more football stuff. Kyrie Irving today has requested a trade. Trade deadline is Thursday. That team is 31-20 right now. So the Brooklyn's sitting there in a nice spot. Of course, Kevin Durant's hurt. There is something about when Kevin Durant gets hurt and the New Jersey and the Nets go, they just blow up. Something happens.
The timing was a little weird.
Yeah. So now he wants out. He's averaging 27 points a game. I don't know. Someone's going to want him because he's great.
Somebody's going to want him, but it's going to be tough because I don't think anyone is going to want to invest all that much in a guy like him.
How long is Durant out for?
That's a good question. I wish I'd have known that. I'm not sure how long. He's got to be getting close.
Did you see?
Because he's got to be. It's got to be. I know he's going to be ready for the playoffs. It's got to be close.
So why is he want out all of a sudden?
It's a really good question.
He's getting buried, man.
Sometimes I think Kyrie just likes to be in the news cycle.
He's getting buried everywhere. They're calling him a terrible teammate, a terrible human being. He's getting buried, dude.
Really, Kevin Durant,
but he doesn't do any favors for that team either.
They called Kyrie a team killer.
Killer.
Kevin Durant kind of hitched his wagon to Kyrie. He could have stayed in Golden State with Curry and all those guys. He could have stayed
in Oklahoma State years ago, or wherever the hell he was. Oklahoma City. I mean, I just don't understand. First of all, the management there is terrible, I think, for the Nets. It's a mess. They had Harden. Everything blew up.
Who's running that team?
I don't even know the name of the guy. I didn't even look it up because I don't know the general managers as well in basketball. But, I mean.
Dude, isn't that, what's his name? Isn't that Jay-Z's team? Isn't he part owner of them? I believe
he might have been at one time, right? And then didn't he go to doing?
He's not anymore.
I think he's does that agency, whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of it. Where he is a player agent. So I don't know. I'm not sure. All I know is that they got Ben Simmons there who cannot play. He won't play. I think there's an anxiety issue because he just doesn't even suit up. And when he does suit up, he won't shoot. Let me tell you this: they play the Wizards on Saturday. Tomorrow. Check it out. If the Wizards are getting a lot, I would put a couple bucks on the Wizards just because. How are they going to play?
Right.
How's Kyrie going on the floor? I doubt he is because he wants to be traded on Thursday, so he can't get hurt. Kevin Durant's out. Simmons wouldn't matter if he was in or not.
I saw on DraftKings that the odds of the Nets winning the championship went from like plus 750 to plus 1,200 as soon as the announcement came out that Kyrie wanted out.
He can't go to the Lakers because if they're going to trade, they can't trade Westbrook.
So why can't he go to the Lakers?
Well, only if Westbrook is part of the trade, because no way can
big hype today.
Yeah, Westbrook can't play with Durant, so there'd have to be a third team. Those two can't play together.
Oh, they hate each other?
Yeah, from Oklahoma City. So they would have to. I heard Utah being involved in like a three-way type trade to move this along. The Phoenix Suns are very interested.
Well, Wow.
Miami, Dallas, Minnesota has the capabilities of bringing him in.
All that they went in the offseason about him coming back there, and they talked about it, and he drug out, and then he comes back, and then he just leaves.
Yeah, right.
Shouldn't be able to do that. Shouldn't be able to do that.
I know.
Should not be able to do that, dude, in the middle of a season like that. You should not be able to screw a team like that. You shouldn't be able to.
What's that, Rob?
Don't you think there's a possibility that he stays with the Nets?
No.
You don't think there's
After
a possibility? Yeah, I think there's a possibility that
they don't want him no
that
more.
this is all money, and they're the ones that can pay him, and the rest of these teams won't be able to do it.
He's out. He's got to go. I think unfortunately Durant's going to follow. I wouldn't be shocked if he might get traded. He might get traded on Thursday.
Wow, man!
Because
that's amazing how fast that just goes to shit.
Because think about it. They talked about Durant leaving in the offseason, remember? And then they couldn't. They were going to trade him for Ayton to the Suns, but then
Ayton was hurt, wasn't he?
Yeah, and there was money, and then they couldn't talk to him anymore till after January for some reason in their collective bargaining agreement, whatever the hell that is.
Right.
Now it's wide open again, and I can't imagine Durant's going to stay. What's he going to stay with? There's no one there.
Right, because Ayton re-signed.
Right, and Seth Curry's out for the year now too, so that's kind of hurtful to them. Yeah, really, Scott. Think about that dream team down the tubes. I mean, fast. So it doesn't work. It don't work when you try to do that. It just doesn't. I don't see it working. I mean, LeBron, it worked. I guess maybe that's what everyone's searching for when LeBron took his talents to Miami.
Yeah,
and he brought.
Yeah, but it only happened once and worked out well because.
Yeah, it didn't.
Seems to implode everywhere else at sea. You know what I mean? The egos get in the way and yada yada. And it just doesn't ever seem to work.
And I'm no LeBron fan. I'm really not. But not everybody's LeBron either.
I know he's ridiculous. He's going to break Kareem's record here in a minute, and I never thought that record would be broken.
I remember when he was in high school, dude, and I would see the clips on television. They would show him in high school on ESPN. They would show his high school games because it was so ridiculous, dude. It looked like a grown-ass man playing with second graders.
Yeah, playing with me.
He's so much bigger than everybody else.
Yeah, but so I guess maybe that's the thing. Everyone's been searching. I don't know. But Kyrie Irving will go somewhere. Look, if you get him for a playoff run, he could win you. He could win a championship for you. That's why teams are going to take a shot.
Yeah,
I think. Sure. You know,
he's still a great basketball player.
Oh my God, is he good? Yeah, it's a shame. And I know he's got, and I don't even mind the way he talks. You know what? When he talks, I don't even mind his interviews.
I kind of like him.
I don't mind his interviews. He does what he does. He talks the way he talks. Sometimes
they bait him. The reporters bait him in because they know he'll talk.
Yes, they know he will talk.
So they ask the shitty questions.
Absolutely.
They know he's going to say something that's inappropriate possibly, or someone will deem inappropriate or blah, blah, blah.
I think he's a fun personality,
just a horrible teammate,
and an incredible basketball player. Yeah, but I just don't think he's the kind of guy that you want to bring in and say, "Here, we're gonna."
He's got to be secondary.
He's got to be a rental if you bring him in.
And
he's turned himself into that.
Yeah, be a rental forever.
He can't be trusted. You can't. He's just not loyal. He's not loyal to an organization.
Right. Nate just said, like the Celtics with Garnett, Pierce, and Ray Allen in the 2000. Yeah, for 1 year. Yeah.
If it works, it's only usually for 1 year, and then it.
Yeah. And Chris says hi. Hey, Chris. All right, let's talk a little bit real quick because I know we just spent some time with Mike about NFL stuff. Robin, give me a rundown on some of the things that maybe happened, and then Scott, take a listen if we miss if anything's missed here. What do you got?
Head coaching wise, Sean Payton hired by the Broncos. So they sent a 2023 first rounder, which is number 30, their pick from San Francisco, and a 2024 second rounder. And the Broncos get back a 2024 third rounder.
Okay. And what else do we got?
The Houston Texans hired DeMeco Ryans. Carolina Panthers hire Frank Reich.
Right, which is a shame. Yeah, we talked about that.
The Cardinals and Colts are still looking. Sounds like from what I've read, the front runner in Indianapolis is Wink Martindale.
Oh, geez, Wink.
And I guess they're having troubles in Arizona And a lot of people are saying that the troubles are because no one wants to take on Kyler Murray and his big contract. So that's interesting there. Derek Carr won't extend the trigger date on his contract. And then just a little, Senior Bowl type stuff. Jackson Smith and Jigba is moving in a positive direction. The wide receiver from Ohio State, he's expected to work out at the combine. So that's good news for him. Just a little feel-good thing. The Warren McClendon, the tackle from Georgia, that survived the car crash that killed his teammate.
Right.
He is participating in the Senior Bowl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, after surviving that.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's incredible.
Yeah, that really is. Senior Bowl's tomorrow, I think, at 2:30.
Yeah. Scouts, I guess, are raving about Keanu Benton, the defensive tackle from Wisconsin.
Okay.
I guess his draft stocks went down this year after the way Wisconsin used him, but I guess now in mobile at the combine, or at the practices, for the Senior Bowl, they're really seeing a different side to him, and I guess his draft stock is really on the rise.
Thank you.
Somebody to look out for.
Thank you, Robin. I got to ask you, Scott, what do you think about trading for coaches and giving up first-round picks and second-round picks? When your team's not that good, I just don't understand.
It depends on who the coach is. Like they did it with Gruden, didn't they?
Yeah, they won. Yeah, well, yeah.
Gruden,
And
Tampa Bay to the Raiders.
Did he win it there? No. Or
No,
did
he
he?
won.
No, he never won there. He won in Tampa.
Didn't he go from Tampa Bay to the Raiders?
Yeah, right, Robin? Yes, because he won in Tampa and then went to the Raiders.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so that didn't work out.
I'm not a big fan of it.
I mean, I don't remember he had Gannon back then, and they went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So he did okay back then. His second time around obviously ended poorly. But I don't know, man. I guess it depends on the coach. But from what I was hearing about that whole situation, the whole coaching merry-go-round that happened, the hires, was that D'Amico Ryans was actually the first choice for Denver.
Oh, wow.
And he told them he was taking the Houston job, and they went back to Sean Payton. So I'm thinking it sounds to me like maybe they didn't really want to give up those draft picks, and because I had kind of heard that Sean Payton was starting to drop out of the whole thing. They weren't nobody because on the shows I was listening to, nobody could understand why he wasn't hired by anybody yet.
Yeah, and you know what else I heard Scott and John about D'Amico Ryans was that that at least 3 other teams, like you said, Denver being one of them, wanted him, and he was so impressed with the city of Houston that even though it was a bad situation, that was why he went to the Texans.
Interesting.
Well, it brings him back with the team that drafted him too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
I like the whole thing. I remember when he played for Houston.
Sean Payton to me, if I'm a Denver fan, I'm not happy with this because it's a mess there as it is. Now you're just bringing in I just don't like recycling these older guys. I don't know if it works. When they've been out of the league, here they come back. I don't know.
And if you think about it now, they're saying that he's going to what? He's going to revive. He revived Drew Brees, right? Isn't that what they give him the credit for?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But the dude got injured and San Diego wanted to get rid of him. So what did he revive? Drew Brees was always supposed to be good.
Yeah. And remember,
Russ has just fallen to shit.
Yeah. And he's old.
He's just fallen off totally. So I don't know what he's going to fix for Russ. I think it's getting the situations are being compared. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and it's getting like 20 years ago.
And it's totally different to me.
And the game's different now than it was back then. It's so much different. These quarterbacks they have to do more and more. You just can't sit back and throw the ball. You got to run. You got to do everything. It's different.
And think about this. What does this say for the future of the Broncos? They've traded 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and agreed to contracts worth over $350 million just for Russell Wilson and Sean Payton.
They're a mess.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
They're a mess. They're a big mess. And I wanted to ask you a question because I know you listen to Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name?
Pat McAfee.
Oh, that's my favorite show,
I've
man.
seen things on the internet, and I don't know if these are true or not sometimes, because I don't know how they're getting these quotes, but you would know about Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, he's right on the show. I watch his whole interview every week.
I read something he's not going to the 49ers. That was actually said. Is that
was a clip? So he's at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, the same thing Josh Allen's at, and he was up at the tee, and whoever his partner was like, "So are you going to the 49ers or are you going to what's call it?" And he said, "Are you going to the 49ers or are you going to?" And I can't remember the other team. He said, "I'm not going to the 49ers." Oh, or it was the Jets. Was it the Jets? I can't remember who it was. It was two teams, and that was just. But people will take that and yeah. From what I gather, the way Aaron Rodgers is, he's always joking around anyway. So I would. People are going to take it and run with it, and I think he does to the media what a lot like he throws like the shiny object the other way when he goes that way. For sure, all the time, dude. And he just doesn't. That's why he says all the time he doesn't care what they write about him, and I believe he doesn't care, to be honest.
I believe it too.
Here coming from him, the way he says it, he's like, I couldn't give a shit what they write about me, dude. It's their job, whatever. Do what they got to do.
As a Bears fan, I hate him, but boy, do I have to admire the way he has learned to use the media and
he could teach a lesson. He could teach young quarterbacks.
And
he's
what a personality,
smart guy. Yeah, dude. And now, honestly, seeing the interviews with him, I actually like I said, I've come to like him after watching every Tuesday. You see him more as a person now because you see it just normal. Yeah. It's just dudes talking, kind of the way they talk. It's not all professional and buttoned up on that show. It's all laid back, and he's sitting there in a t-shirt, you know
what changed me on him? And he's beating the Bears' ass, and whatever. Similar to how Brady beat, your guy, how with the Bills. Same thing, exactly.
Thanks for the reminder.
No, I know, but you see what I'm saying. Just to tell you, but we know where I started to like him was when his brother came around. There was something about that seemed so set up to try to, I don't know. I thought he handled that really well. Remember the brother was doing the stupid show?
Bachelor.
And then everyone started to try to bash him about his family and all that stuff. And I was like, this is wrong. This is really, this is kind of messed up. I know this is wrong. And he handled that really good. They wanted him to handle it bad, and he didn't.
I know.
He just shut up. He didn't.
They tried so hard
to goad him. Yeah.
I'll admit a dirty secret. Back then, I used to watch The Bachelor. I don't do that anymore. But anyways, I watched it back then, and I wanted to, and I was like, oh yeah, I hate Aaron Rodgers, so I'm all into, great. But I was like, man, he handled, like you said, he handled this well.
I like him. I just hate him, but I like him.
Yeah, if he was anybody but
you got good reason.
He'd be great. Yeah, if he was out of the NFC North,
I'll cheer for him. Yeah, he gets the hell out of there. But he
comes to the AFC East, dude, and I'm going to be so pissed.
I was thinking he was going to go to the Vikings. I really did. I thought, but
John, if he goes to the Jets, I'm going to be a very angry guy. But by the way, he said he's friends with Zach Wilson. And the way he talked about the relationship or the friendship he has with Zach Wilson, I don't think he would do that to him.
Interesting. It would be interesting to see where he ends up.
I don't think he'll go to the Jets. That's why the whole Jets thing, I've never thought that was going to be a thing because I've heard him talk about his relationship with Zach.
So San Francisco, the New York Jets, where else could he fit? The Raiders, but I just can't believe that would happen. He'd be so foolish to go there because that place is a mess.
I don't know that this would be reality. But what about Indianapolis?
Indy's a good one. There's another one. Yeah. Indy
got a great running game.
That's true. Good wide receivers.
Good wide receivers there already. I mean, they just need a quarterback
because they're going to draft someone. How long is Rodgers going to have left? A couple?
Yeah.
2 years?
2 years. If he signs someplace else, I think he'll play 2 years.
Now he wants to win, though. So is Indy close enough to win?
And mentor him?
The only one close enough to win is the 49ers.
Right.
The Jets aren't close enough to win a Super Bowl. I'm telling you, he wants to win a Super Bowl. He's not looking to win a playoff game.
You don't think the Jets become a contender with
a contender to make the playoffs?
No, I mean a Super Bowl contender.
No.
What do they need?
I don't know, but they're not. They're just going to jump in. I think there's probably offensive line help they would need.
Got to jump into shit this year, though.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Garrett Wilson.
They look really good, man.
You probably need more options, right?
Well, sure, they need more.
Yeah.
They need a solid quarterback is what they need. They can't keep
Baldy back. You think they're a Super Bowl contender? with him.
With Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think so.
I think
he
he
made
put
the
Aaron
playoffs.
Rodgers in there. And
Ross Gardner makes that defense pretty incredible. And that defense is pretty good, dude.
Yeah.
I think they could
really good. So if they got the wide receiver.
Miami.
They got the wide receiver.
Maybe he goes to Miami.
They got the running back. They got the wide receiver. They got the defense, and they're all on rookie contracts. Huh, that's heaven for him, really. If you think about it, that's heaven for a veteran quarterback because they can spend on now. They can bring in the guy. Aaron Rodgers goes there. Everybody's going to want to go there.
True. What about Miami?
New York City. It'll piss me off.
Scott, Miami. What about Miami and Aaron Rodgers?
Fuck Aaron Rodgers in Miami. I don't want that, John.
How
about back to Green Bay so he can continue to torture you? Don't try sending that shit my way.
Patriots, somebody.
I'll try talking that into
you can have him.
They're sticking with Tua.
Tua, yeah.
They're sticking with Tua is what I heard.
All right, why don't we do this now? Because I don't want to keep everyone forever. Last night, listen to what I did. I bet Northwestern State, I bet Pacific, and I bet the San Francisco Dons plus 12. And it all hit.
San Francisco Dons, and what are they playing? Softball or something?
No. They're out west. They played. Who they beat last night? Jeez, I don't even remember. I was watching
St. Mary's?
They beat St. Mary's. Yes, they beat them.
Is this basketball?
Yeah, college basketball.
Okay.
So I won that parlay. I won with the Knicks. So I'm on a roll. I'm going to give some basketball picks that I like. But I want to hear your stuff for the Super Bowl because next week we're going to do a hell of a lot more Super Bowl. Right. What do you got?
But just these are the prop bets that I bet this week, and these are only I put $10 on one of them only because it was a free bet, and I did it actually by accident. And these are all my $5 wagers. There's a whole list of Super Bowl prop bets that have really high odds. One of them that I like, and this is plus 1,800. Miles Sanders to score the first Eagles touchdown and Travis Kelce to score the first Chiefs touchdown.
Jeez,
that makes sense, right? Doesn't that sound like it's
sure.
Totally doable?
Yep.
Okay, here's my one we talked about earlier. And due to the fact that he has scored a touchdown in the past, I would put $5 on both Jason and Travis Kelce to score one touchdown each.
And what does 5 win you said?
Plus 15,000 are the odds.
I love
$5 will net you $755 if we are lucky enough to have that thing come to fruition.
All right.
I put $5. These are lower ones. These will probably happen. I put $5 on Hassan Reddick to record the first sack of the game. Okay. That's plus 700. Then I bet it on Chris Jones for plus 600. $5 nets you 40 for one and 35 with the other. And then I bet player to record first interception of the game plus 1,800, Jalen Watson. $5 nets you $95. He's already had like two interceptions in the playoffs. So
that's nice. Next week we're gonna.
He's hot. He's the rookie on Kansas City, so I'm gonna go for it. I'll take that.
Next week we have a lot. Nate's got something here where he likes Mahomes over 19.5 yards rushing.
Oh, I don't know, buddy. Now, I don't know with that high ankle sprain. I guess we'll see it. I got to see a practice. I got to see a practice on Mahomes running a yard.
Yeah, I know. It depends. It depends.
Is interesting, though, Nate, because I bet you that number is greatly lowered because of the high ankle sprain. So
maybe you get a catch up.
You catch a break if he gets a little healthy. I'm with Nate. If you like that, I would bet it now.
Yeah, that's true because pardon me yawning here.
A good week.
Philly's defense is going to be chasing him around. Philly's defense is going to get. They're going to get penetration. He's going to have to run. He's going to have to run.
Yeah, he's going to have to run.
He's not going to have a choice.
So next week we'll give our picks for the game, over unders, everything you can think of. We'll have next week Super Bowl week. Let me give you a couple picks for tonight and tomorrow that I like, and I'm going to bet them. Tonight there's one game I have for tonight, and it's at 9 p.m. It's Boise State at San Diego State University. Boise State's plus 6.5. I would take the points and plus 6.5. They might win outright, but I like the 6.5. Tomorrow, like I said about the Wizards, check out how many points they're getting from the Nets or what that line is, because I can't imagine how the Nets play tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how that all transpires.
You think it might be one of those blowout disasters?
Yeah, and the Wizards aren't that great, but they do have Porzingis who can score sometimes. So yeah, could be a disaster. The other NBA game I like tomorrow is the Lakers -1 at New Orleans. And I have one college game that I really, really like tomorrow at 4 p.m. Texas is at Kansas State, and Kansas State's -1, and I really like them. I like them a lot. So those are my picks for the weekend on a slow weekend because there's no football. All we got is some wacky. What do we got? Some 7-on-7 or something stupid flag football shit.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, I can't even take it, dude. Did you see I was gonna watch it for the best catch.
Yeah.
I was like, that was the best catch contest. That's
So
videotaped shit. Stephon Diggs is in a pool. They had that.
I can't watch.
Really? I mean, at least the Justin Jefferson one was original. It was the Eiffel Tower. I mean, come on, you had to do that. That was pretty cool.
What?
But it was stupid. It took him like 3 tries to catch it. Like, it was ridiculous. It was dumb.
I used to bet the Pro Bowl years ago.
Oh yeah, it used to be good.
I used
Dude,
to love
remember when they used to hammer each other? Pow!
Yeah.
Man, dudes would get lit.
Especially in the fourth quarter.
When they had played in Hawaii.
Yeah. Because the fourth quarter, money's on the line, and then it would start.
Yeah,
right?
buddy.
I remember Sean Taylor really big. I wish I could remember who it was, but he just hammered someone.
I think that was one of the worst hits, hardest hits ever in the Pro Bowl was the Sean Taylor hit.
But I used to love betting that because the AFC was always on a run where they won like 14 in a row.
Yeah.
Now it's flag football. I don't even understand
we don't even bother.
Do you think the NFL should just probably just name your.
They've got to do something to try to make it better, that's why they're doing the flag football, because doing it in pads looks so bad.
Because they won't play. Yeah.
It looks like a walkthrough. Nobody's hitting anybody.
I also don't like that they don't wait till after the Super Bowl. Because
people are afraid they're going to get hurt. That's what they're all worried about.
I just wish if you're going to play flag football, though, why don't you do it after the Super Bowl so at least whoever the Chiefs and Eagles players can be? You know what I mean? Like, it just seems foolish to me.
I get it.
But anyways,
I always thought the All-Star game should be after the championships anyway.
Years ago, did you know, this was before it might have been the 70s, so we were born just too little. Did you know that the Super Bowl team used to play a college all-star team? And that's the Steelers with Bradshaw played against the college, because I think Walter Payton played on that team on the college.
I heard about this before. I think I've heard about this.
That happened a couple times, and they had to stop it because I think it didn't work out well. But it was interesting. I mean,
I couldn't imagine how it would.
I mean, nowadays it would be interesting though, with all that talent and all the stuff. Can you imagine? I can't.
Guys would just be getting kids would be getting hurt.
Kids would be getting they're playing
hurt.
Think about those 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds playing against like Jack Ham and Jack Lambert back then. They must have been sick.
Yeah.
It had to be.
Yeah, Jack Ham. Could you even imagine, dude?
And Leon Blunt, or whatever his name was, Mel Blunt. He probably ripped their face. They hated them.
Who was it? White Shoes that would slap. Who was it that would slap people upside their helmet, give them concussions and shit?
Oh, Bubba Smith. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
He was one that was.
It was like his move.
It
was his move. He would slap them and ring their bell, and they'd be dizzy. And I was like, "You guy, give it a concussion on every play."
Here's some bad news for the NFL. I'm sure they're going to look into.
Oh yeah.
Is concussions were up 22%.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's interesting. Yeah. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, I think one thing they're going to have to feel, and I hate to say this, I'm not trying to be a dick or nothing. It's just violent. I don't know how it's hard to take.
I don't know what else you can do. What are you going to do? Wrap their heads in bubble wrap? I mean, honestly, I think the helmets have been designed to the point, not that they can't keep working on stuff, they can, but I mean, technology has come a long way, and they haven't done anything to be able to prevent them at this point.
I
don't know how you can.
Go ahead,
also,
Robin.
not to be an ass, but that's why they make millions and millions of dollars.
True. They know what they're doing.
They put themselves on the line.
No, you're right. That's what happens. The other thing is, though, too, I
mean, don't get me wrong. I feel I don't want that to come off as if I don't feel sorry for them or anything like that. But
I think they understand that. I think the players understand it more than we might. That they know what they're doing. Like it's.
I think if you talk to a player, they will say they know.
And that the other thing is, I think they're teaching kids how to tackle better. I do notice it in college where they do try to keep their heads up now.
Yeah,
they do not try to put their head on the ball.
They've gotten that out of theirs. So that's.
It seems they're trying to. I give the NFL or whatever you want to give credit, the high schools. It looks like they really are seriously, because otherwise kids are going to stop playing. They have to do it. Parents won't let their kids play or something. So no, I wouldn't either. I mean,
rough sport, man. I mean, I played it. I know what it felt. I remember getting my bell rung when I was a little kid.
Well, think about how you and you're going to remember this better than me. Tackling, then watching your favorite players. I watched it the other day, just messing around. The whole point was to knock them out. The whole point was to put your helmet on the ball or on their head or something. It was never, at least now it's a little better. I noticed they try to say, keep your head, But
John,
what can you do?
When I played for the Moose Rockets.
I remember
Moose Rockets, okay? The 1 year we had a coach, and I think I've brought him up on this show once before. I think he played like 1 year for the Bills. I don't know how many years he was in the NFL, but I know he did play for the Bills for a year. He was a complete lunatic, dude.
Yeah, right.
This guy treated us kids like we were grown men. The yelling, dude, I terrorized you. I think he gave us concussions the way he would hit you in your helmet.
How old are you?
God, I watched this guy lose his shit in practice once, jump in the air, and kick a kid in the helmet. Swear to God, he was complete.
What a world, man.
He was young and big, right? Because he was a football player, and angry all the time. Always angry. It was rough. Hey, 1 year. He didn't coach again. I think all the parents turned against him after
Even then, think about that. He was that bad. Because back then, they put up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He was a lunatic, John.
Yeah.
I've been coached tough. That was the hardest year. I felt he was in prison.
How old were you?
Fuck, dude. I think I was like 9 or 10.
That's funny.
Seriously, I'm not shitting you, man. We used to practice in LaSalle High School. The what you call it back there? It wasn't. Yeah. They didn't have a stadium back there at that point. It was just a big field with 2 goalposts on it. But he was a lunatic, dude. I will never forget him kicking that kid in the helmet. I will never ever forget that.
I
seen him when I was older around here.
Did you?
A little rough life, some domestic violence calls.
Oh, sure, my God.
Been arrested for it. I wasn't surprised. No. He was complete lunatic, bro. Yelling from minute of practice starting. Yell, kid, every kid, yell. Angry all the time. Never happy about anything.
Even
I don't know why. We never seen him ever did anything right. I mean,
it's so fucked up. Yeah, and think about then, and that's so far to the one extreme. Then you get to the other one. I mean, now it's a mess. I don't know. I just remember, I'll never forget it, man. I say it on the show all the time when the T-ball coach told me what he told me. I'll never forget it. He was a one-armed guy. He had one arm, and he could hit the ball at Midtown out of the stadium, over the fence there in Midtown. And I swing and missed. I swing and missed at the tee. I swing and missed. Then I hit the tee. He put the ball back on the tee. I swing and missed. And he says, he goes, hey, and he was an older guy, black guy. He comes down and says, hey, son, you might want to quit your day job. I was 6. I think 5. Well, you got to have been 5 or 6. So I don't know. And other people are laughing, and I'm all right. And I'll never forget going home and saying what was said. And then and then of course it's the same thing, not, they don't tell me that, but it's like, we'll practice more, and all that. But anyways, don't quit your day job. I'm going to forget it. I'll never forget.
Your son
whenever you tell that story, it just kills me because he's got one arm and he's smacking him over.
Oh, he was so good too. This guy, he could do it with the ball would be underneath his arm, the one arm that he had no arm, and he would drop it and wham, and he would murder. He would hit rockets at you. Oh yeah,
our son Andy had a travel hockey coach that was very intense. He lost it one time after a game, and he went around and told and now mind you, these kids were like 7.
They were 7 and 8, yeah.
Yeah, 7 and 8 year olds, and he went around and told each one why they suck.
Yeah.
Told them that they suck.
Yeah.
Until every kid but Andy was in tears.
Yeah. Andy was laughing.
Andy just thought it was funny.
Because he told you're slow,
Oh,
yeah. No, these guys are nuts. Anyhow.
How do you do that to kids?
I don't know.
How do you do that to kids?
I know.
Because it sticks with them forever, obviously.
Oh,
Look
yeah,
at
yeah,
what the
yeah.
guy did to you.
Oh yeah, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I mean, you know what it did? I'll tell you that right now. It's it did it, and I think it's why it is today. I cannot handle a compliment, and I always think it's not good. I'm telling you, because I never ever thought that that guy. I'll never forget him. I had to stick with him too, because I had to go back the next year because it was 2 years of T-ball back then. Yeah, that started.
What'd you do? Show up and he says, "Huh, you again, huh?"
Yeah. Well, then you figure. But you know what? It didn't. I don't know about you, and I don't know about you, but I know for me, it didn't take long knowing that I better get into broadcasting or something if I want to be in like sports.
Yeah.
It didn't take long. After that, it probably didn't take much more than another 4 years before I'm like, yeah.
You know how I knew John? It was at Niagara Catholic.
Oh.
And Big Mike was the coach in ninth grade. And I was running routes in the game. And one of the teachers, who was Mr. Andrews, he was actually my godfather.
I remember him. Yeah.
Because he told me what he said. He said, Taggart, I went up to the coach. I said, hey, Taggart's wide open all the time. How are you throwing the ball? I had to tell him. I said, well, the coach told me at practice, man. Taggart, you couldn't catch a cold butt ass naked. I was fast. I could distract, but I couldn't catch Jack.
I knew my career was done when I was 8 playing hardball, and my coach told me I couldn't play the infield because I was a girl.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Best teammates were girls when I was a kid.
Mine too. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I was some good teammates that were girls.
All right, we better go. Memory lane, man. Everyone's probably got a story like that. If you're out, everyone's got a story like that. All right, Scott. If you get a chance, bet some of these games I put out there.
Hey, one more. Can I tell you one more story? Just one more. Just one more, because it's so good. It cannot wait to offer. So my buddy, this guy ends up becoming a good friend of mine, like one of my best friends. His father was a baseball coach in LaSalle Little League, and I will never forget this. I had to play against this team. Dude, he would yell so bad. He would make all the kids cry. He'd make them all cry. And they were the best team in the league. It was the Oakland Athletics, dude. It was Mr. Glavin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he would. Dude, I watch him yell. Yeah, I was like, oh, shit. I hope next year I don't get picked for that guy's teme. Everybody's crying over there, man. You know?
Yeah, and it didn't matter. It just didn't matter. No one, no one stepped in.
No.
Oh, there was 30 parents there. Nobody gave a shit.
Some of them probably even liked it. Yeah. Insane. I know.
Sadistic.
All right. So next week we'll be back with all of our Super Bowl picks, all the props, everything you could handle on the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Send me a thank you, because I didn't give you any picks this week, and I'm terrible.
Yeah. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're gonna get right this week.
My picks I gave were for next week anyway, Robin. So I'm just.
Yeah. I hope these college ones come through. But anyways, all right, guys. We'll be back next week. Scott, stay warm.
See you, man. Bye, guys.
Right. Take care, everyone. Bye.